Hey everyone, this is Ricky with Spoiler Force Podcast, courtesy of Popluck Podcast. You can find more episodes of Spoiler Force Podcast on Apple Podcast, SoundCloud, YouTube, or on Facebook at facebook.com/popluckpodcast.
Hey, this is Brookes, and you're listening to Spoiler Force Podcast.
It's an LP beat.
Alright, this is Spoiler Force episode 25. This is Ricky. It's October 18th, a special day today. I'm super excited for my guest today as well. Before I get started here, I do want to just let the listeners know I'm a bit better from the last episode from this week. I'm still coughing here and there, so if you hear me how you heard me speak, if you hear like some sort of shortness of breath or like if I take a break to cough, that's actually on me. So I'm still trying to get better here. But no, besides all that, this has been a work in progress for the past month and a half or so. What's funny is my guest here and I have actually never met in person, but we've been friends on Facebook for a few years now, which is totally crazy. I do want to just introduce the super Namekian himself, the Raikage, the fastest man alive, Brookes. Thank you so much for doing this, dude.
Oh yeah, no, thank you. I've been really excited, and like I told you, I was so geeked about it that I thought it was last Friday, but I was just glad to be here.
Yeah, again, like I was saying, man, like it's crazy how our friendship bonded over just Facebook, and I've seen your progress through just your content creation, just like over all these years, from doing all your little skits to roasting people to actually putting people on check, and up till now. I think you were doing your rap videos, and then now you're an actual you're going into being more of an athlete now. You're doing a lot of athletic drilling and more running, and I think earlier today you posted about doing yoga. How's that been going?
Yeah, man, it's been a little journey. Yoga's been going well. I had my first session I think it was this Tuesday, and it was really tough. I knew it was going to be tough too. I think a lot of guys are kind of all macho, and they think yoga is just for girls, but it's really hard.
I've done a little bit when I was wrestling way back in high school, and it's just stability is actually the hardest part of it, because you have to maintain those poses and focus on a lot of breathing, and that's what makes it more difficult.
Yeah, definitely. I sometimes I forget to breathe. You think that you've been breathing your whole entire life, but there is a skill to breathing, believe it or not. So I'm still trying to get that down.
Right. I can kind of compare that to how you breathe during boxing. You breathe regularly as a person, but then to actually use that as a way to use it in the sport, it applies to everything really. You got to make your breaths count. Especially with yoga, you have to. If you don't breathe, then you kind of just lose the position that you're in.
Yeah, no, I definitely, I agree. Breathing is definitely, it's beneficial, and if you're not doing it the right way, it can be kind of detrimental to your performance too.
Now, are you breathing? Is there certain breathing patterns that you're doing too? Is it just through your nasal passage and then out your mouth, or is it just is there certain techniques that you're doing?
I don't know, really. My instructor's been telling me that I have to breathe through my stomach or my diaphragm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if I'm probably doing it wrong, but yeah, she told me that she'll work with me more next time to make sure my breathing is better.
Breathing through your diaphragm is very beneficial too, because a lot of singers do it. People forget that you can actually intake more air when you breathe. A lot of people breathe just halfway up to their chest, so that way their chest puffs up, and then they let go of air. But then they forget that if you breathe through your diaphragm, you actually exhale more air. So a lot of more powerful singers, they can, Whitney Houston, for example, they belt that shit out. It's very beneficial again. But yeah, man, also just overall what you're doing for football training. You're doing a lot of running drills. I see you doing a lot of weightlifting as well, incorporating that. Have you stopped boxing as well? I haven't seen any of that in a while.
Yeah, I've been focusing more on on football and doing a lot of different things to try to improve my overall game. But I haven't in a long time. I've always been like super on and off with it for the past like I want to say maybe like 5-6 years. But yeah, man, I really do enjoy boxing, but I just need to, like everything in life, you just got to be consistent with it. And unfortunately, I haven't been. I've been kind of just all over the place.
No, I can relate to that too, because like I'm a huge MMA boxing fan, and I have all my gear and all my shit set up as well. I haven't touched that in like a year and a half, or maybe even longer. I remember like one of your first videos that I've seen was when you were doing your sparring session in your garage, and that's how this is how like we kind of found some sort of common ground with boxing, and especially with Rocky. You know, like I think I've been tagging you in some of the Rocky stuff when it was coming out, especially with the Creed stuff, and yeah, no, like it's an incredible sport as well. And I did want to bring this up too. There's a boxer, what's his name? Let me just pull up his information. Lemonshenko. Have you tried like emulating any of that too? Because I know he dances, so have you tried to do any dancing for your footwork as well?
No, I have. I'm a terrible dancer. I can like I'll do like the Millie Rock or like the robot. I used to do the robot at the club when I used to go to the club. But yeah, no, I should get into some sort of dance. I heard ballet is really good for athletes. A lot of athletes get into ballet, so maybe I might go into that after yoga. You
probably should do that. And it's definitely beneficial for football as well. A lot of football players do it.
Yes, I heard Walter Payton. I know he did ballet, and he's considered one of the best running backs of all time. So if he did it, then what's the work?
And speaking of football, I mean, like you've been posting your videos of you running and just showing off your speed as well. What's your fastest like you've ever ran?
Fastest I've ever ran.
I mean, this could go to anything really, but like, let's say like your 40-yard dash. How fast is that? How fast are you on that?
Yeah. I haven't timed my 40 in like since I was a freshman in high school, I believe. I went to a football camp with my team at NDSU, which is North Dakota State University. And we went there as a team, and they had like little combines, the 40 and benching and whatnot. But I think I ran it as a 4. I think it was a 4.8 as a freshman. So that was well over 8 years ago, I think. But I plan to time it after I do all my training this spring and summer. I plan to time it, and I'm shooting for like a 4.4. I'm shooting for a 4.4. So we'll see.
Don't run too fast, man. You're gonna like turn back time or something like the Flash. Holy shit! Again, man, I am so honored to have you as a guest, man. Like you have no idea. I'm like as a fan of your content, I'm just geeking out so bad right now. Honestly, I don't know how to feel about this. It's very surreal for me. And I know that you're also a huge anime fan as well. And have you been keeping up with any certain animes at all?
I just. Well, first I want to thank you for saying that, and I've also been following your content too. I've always been trying to support everything you've done, and I've seen your growth too. So it's exciting to just be a part of your content. So yeah, and secondly, have I been watching the anime? I finished Hunter x Hunter. One of my college buddies, he tried to get me into it years back, but I was like, it's just looks alright, but I finally got into it, and I thought it was phenomenal. I thought it was like an S-class anime.
One of my buddies, Andrew, my other guy that does the podcast with me, he's watched it. He was like really into it. I tried getting into that Hunter x Hunter, but I don't know. I couldn't grasp it.
Yeah, it's a slow build up, but like, it's just one of those animes. It's slow, but then when it picks up, it really picks up. What was the last anime, or not the last? What was the last episode that you remember? Like what was happening?
I think I was trying to get through like it was early. I think maybe the second or third episode. It was just like all the build up to the story, and I just dropped it. I was like I couldn't get into it.
Yeah, no, that is kind of The first few episodes are definitely slow, so I don't blame you.
Yeah, because like I'm so like caught up with other stuff too, like Attack on Titan, My Hero, and then early, like this year, Demon Slayer. I've been spamming that all over Facebook as well. So I've been like hooked on other stuff too. Excuse me. And like I've been reading a bunch of comics too. So like it's hard to kind of maintain everything as well.
Yeah, man. There's so much anime and so little time. Attack on Titans that's one I haven't gotten into it. And also JoJo's Bizarre Adventures. I tried to get into that, but I think it's a little overrated. Have you watched it, JoJo's?
I've seen a lot of the memes. Like I know where all the memes come from, all the goofiness and stuff, but like not really. I haven't really sat down and watched it either.
Okay. Yeah, I've been watching My Hero now that came out, so I'm just waiting for Sunday.
Did you watch the premiere from last week?
Yeah, I did. I know you read the manga, but I just watched the anime, and I was kind of hoping for a little more action, but it was more so like a recap, so which is cool. I'm sure it'll pick up, and I know that you said it was like the best arc.
Yes.
Cool?
I'm not gonna spoil anything for you, but this season will have the best arc of the entire series so far. I mean, where I'm at in the manga, there was a good arc that just passed that happened, but to compare it to what season 4 is right now, it's like neck and neck. I think season 4's arc will probably surpass that because it'll be animated. Definitely look out for the big 3. Those are the 3 characters that I recommend everyone who's watching season 4 to look out for, especially Togata, the guy who can warp through walls and stuff that he fought class 1, and he's probably the best character throughout the entire season this season. And then also Kirishima, so keep an eye on him too.
Yeah, man, the dude teleports, he seems super OP. He's stupid powerful, seems like.
Yeah, he's got his quirk wasn't really explained too well. It's just like he can it's just like a lot of science to it, where he'll dip down because he can use his body to like blend into the molecules, that's anything that's solid surface, and then when he brings himself back, he gets pushed out because of all like the molecules are so sudden. So it's like a spring. He just springs in and out of everything. So like later on in this season 4, when he has his big moment, you'll see how it's explained, how he does his fighting, and it's definitely gonna be so awesome. Because in the manga, just reading the panels, it was really, really cool. So I can't wait for them to actually animate it. That's going to be something that's exciting to watch. And on top of My Hero as well, I know earlier when we were testing the audio, I mentioned that the live action fan made My Hero video. I can't pronounce their channel right, but it's like Riven X. These guys are pretty much stunt coordinators and stunt actors as well. They kind of get together. They're like a huge nerdy group as well too. Like they're huge geeks. Have you seen any of their other videos besides the My Hero stuff?
Yeah, no, I just saw the first 2 little clips that they came out with, but I haven't seen any of their other work. I need to check it out though, because they're super legit.
Yeah, you should. The first one I can recommend to you for sure is their Rock Lee vs Naruto. That one's like I think it's almost 20 minutes. But that one was really good. And then they also have their Street Fighter Cross Tekken. They did it to promote the video game too. And then I say another one would be, since you're a huge TMNT fan, they have like a TMNT tribute. It's just there's no like talking or anything. It's just all pure stunt work. But then it's a very direct video, so you'll kind of like catch who's who in the video. And it's actually pretty cool to see like these stunt guys do live action, and it's not like that cheesy shit. It's very it's very coordinated, and it looks and feels like an actual like anime to live action kind of short film.
I gotta check it out. From the 2 My Hero episodes I saw, it was so well done. It looks like a big studio was behind it almost. So yeah, I definitely gotta check that out.
Yeah, they're I don't know too much about their history. I've been following them. I've been following them since they did their Naruto video. I know that a lot of it's crowdfunded, and a lot of their actors that they pull, some of them are actually like legit. Like the one in the My Hero, their guy who plays the teleporter, he's actually, apparently from what I've read, he's he's actually a stunt double a stunt double for Black Panther in Civil War.
Oh wow.
So yeah, so these guys are. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying that's nuts.
Yeah, they're pretty legit. And then like, in the second My Hero video, they got Cleo Thomas too, and he's the actor who played Zero back in Holes with Shia LaBeouf.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. I was wondering what he's been up to. It was kind of crazy to see him just pop out of nowhere because I haven't seen him do anything else after Holes.
Do you follow All Def Digital at all? He was actually with them for a bit too.
Oh, that is right. Yeah, I did see him in a few, but then yeah, like you said, it was kind of short lived though. He was only like in a few videos, and then he kind of also went MIA again.
Yeah, he's I follow like a lot of the guys that were with All Def Digital, and then like he hangs with some of them here and there. You follow his Instagram. He's pretty much with a lot of different groups, which is pretty cool to see him like go in and out. And you see him with like Patrick Cloud and like a lot. He's in like a lot of anime conventions too. Hopefully he goes to DreamCon next year as well, because that'll be pretty crazy to see him there, since the RDC and all those guys are all big anime nerds too.
You're going there. When is that? You're going there. I saw. I was so jealous.
It was just like I bought the ticket just suddenly because I know they've been doing DreamCon for less than 3 years really, and this is a very small con. I'm surprised that they even had tickets released at this early already. I bought tickets on their website. I think it's just dreamcon.com. I think if you just Google it, you'll find it. It's $100 for their VIP. And then what's crazy too, they had like another VIP like selection, but you can have dinner with a guest or something like that, and now it's completely sold out already. But I'm only going there strictly for the content creators. I know this year and last year, Long Beach Griffey was there, Daquan, Wiltshire was there, King Vader was there. A bunch of the people that we follow on Facebook that create all the anime nerdy stuff. They're all there, and it's freaking wild that they all get together like that too.
Yeah, but that's great. I think that's why RDC is like one of the GOAT content creators, because it was really just him and his guys, right? It was just his buddies, and they kind of built a small little empire, almost making an entire convention. That's the stuff that dreams are made out of.
Yeah, exactly. I was watching some of RDC's videos, like Mark, the main guy in RDC. Mark, he was talking about like how no one wanted them at conventions, or like there were so many certain rules and all this bullshit that they had to deal with. So RDC they all got money together and they just kind of worked it out, and then they rented out the small little convention area that they're at in Waco, Texas, because I think they're all from like Dallas, I think. And then by the time you knew it, like other content creators like King Vader and like everyone that was listening before, they all just jumped in. And then now they're at where they're at, and it's pretty crazy to see that they're going on their third year next year at a convention like this. So hopefully they get more content creators, especially like Long Beach Griffey, who's one of my favorites. He's got over 1.1 million people following him. He still goes to the small cons like that.
Yeah, no, it's always great to see just other content creators support each other like that, building up something big. I hope they all kind of put their heads together and continue to make it a thing, because that's just pretty legendary.
Have you met any other content creators as well, besides outside the Hmong community as well?
Outside the Hmong community, not that I can think of off the top of my head. I didn't meet him, but I saw C. Crave at Minnesota July 4th tournament. I saw him walking, and but I don't know, he seemed busy, and I didn't want to talk to him. I mean, I wanted to talk to him, but he just seemed busy, so I was like, I saw him, so that's good enough.
That's good enough. I've seen him.
Yeah. Have you met any other content creators? Have you met any Hmong content creators? I should say, yeah.
Hmong content creators, if you include musicians as well, the guys at Bay Hmong Productions like LP, TL, Art, and Jer, I met those guys. Those guys are local, so I've seen them around. There's like there's sometimes where like I see them at the same restaurant for a few weeks. I'm like, hey, it's superstars over there. You know, like it's pretty cool just to spot them out. And yeah, I think I've seen them. And then there's some other small timers. I don't want to say small timers. That's not kind of rude, but like other like content creators who aren't really well known.
Like, kind of up and coming.
Yeah, they're more like local in Michigan. I've seen some of them around. But like to do like kind of like how you do with the whole social media aspect, not really. It's mostly a lot of musicians in Michigan. I haven't really seen anyone that's like, you know, a comedian or like actors or something like that. I mean, I have some actor friends too, but they're not really within the Hmong community. They have their own like team and stuff, so they're kind of like branched out on their own. But it'll be pretty cool to see like more of that in Michigan as well. I know in Minnesota you guys have a lot of that, like a very big variety of just musicians, actors, athletes, other like various content creators as well.
Yeah, we do. I don't mean to brag, but I think Minnesota might have the most group of talented Hmong people in the United States. I'll say that right now. I mean, you're definitely one of the talented Hmong people out here too. But yeah, I think like you said, we're really versatile. There's a lot of musicians and artists, athletes, content creators such as myself, makeup artists. Yeah, just a lot of talent out here in Minnesota.
Now, have you thought of working with anyone else as well? I know that you were on Fax News like a year or two ago. You were on their podcast too.
Yeah, Fax News. Chin, he's the homie. He's a really good guy. I've known him for a few years. I might get back on another episode of theirs, but yeah, I haven't really done any collaborations. Probably because I haven't done much. I've kind of been on a hiatus, to be honest, just focusing more so on, I guess, the athletic side of things and just kind of preparing my body for sports and overall fitness. I'm always down to collab with people. I'm kind of like, but I don't really like collab with people on my own stuff. Not because I think like I'm too good, but kind of like Long Beach Griffey. You're a fan of his, and he never has anybody on his videos. I kind of like it that way too, not in a stuck up kind of way, but just because.
Yeah, that way it's more independent. You know, you can kind of just do things on your own terms and not kind of like rely on scheduling and all that stuff. Because that stuff gets kind of hectic, you know.
Yeah, no, definitely. So, yeah, but I'm always up to open collaborations or interviews, podcasts like I am right now. So, I mean, yeah, I'm always up for it.
Whatever happened with your collaboration with Nasli? I know you did the whole rap. Was it not a tournament, but like an entry or something, right? Like a competition. And I think you did win that. You won money and stuff like that. Did you ever get to collab with her?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, there's So I won the contest and I got the money. And then I donated to the family that was killed by, I think it was the racist white dude in was it Michigan? Or no, not Michigan. I think it was Wisconsin. Do you remember this? It was a white dude who killed like a Latino man in a Hmong.
Was that the one where Quinta Bennett Shong was representing the family? Was it that one?
Yeah.
Okay,
yep.
I remember that case. Yeah, that one was horrific because the dude was claiming like he saw Terminator or something. That's fucking wild.
Yeah, no, he's fucking bonkers. But so yeah, I won the money and then I gave it to their family for that cause. And then we're supposed to, part of the deal was that we were supposed to collab. And I think like a year or two went by, and I was kind of like, and she never hit me up. And I finally hit her up asking, she had a baby and she was pregnant. So I was like, oh, she's mommy duty, so I wasn't mad or anything like that. I understood. But she finally hit me up saying that she wanted me to like try to rap in Hmong, and she was just really insistent on that. But that's not. Like, I'm not fluent in Hmong, and so I kind of had to, like, give her a friendly decline that, because, I just don't speak Hmong, and this is not my forte, so it never happened because she just wanted me to rap in Hmong.
It's not really for everyone, really, rapping in Hmong. I have nothing against it either. I feel like if you want to reach out to the Hmong community as an artist, that's kind of on you. But to be more versatile per se, like I think you should be able to branch out to not just Hmong but to like American audiences as well. Yeah, but I don't see anything wrong with that. I always wondered what happened. Really, that's why I'm asking this too, because I actually followed that competition to see like who were you up against and whatnot. So I was like, okay, so he actually won, Van Brooks won and all that stuff. So then it never happened.
Yeah, no, you're the first person to actually ask me about that on any podcast or interview that I've done. But yeah, that was kind of the reason why it didn't happen. And like, no disrespect towards her or anything. It was, we're cool. It's just, it's like I don't know, like I feel like I wouldn't be able to rap as well as I could in another language that I'm not really fluent in. Yeah, personally, I just kind of don't like Hmong rap either. I think it's just not my cup of tea. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't blame you because like Hmong rap, or Hmong language in general, there's like so many limited words, so it's kind of difficult to kind of express yourself as an artist to use like the imagery of words to kind of just talk about what you want to like talk about. Really, I mean, I'm not great in Hmong either, so like I can definitely relate to you on that. Because I tried my little snippet at music too, like when I was 18, 19. Didn't really want to do the whole Hmong thing either, so I never got into it. But Hmong music itself now, it's like blowing up. And just on this topic as well, David Yang dropped a song, was it yesterday? And I mean, there's so much shit that's been going on this week, so it's perfect that I can talk about this with you too. But yeah, David Yang dropped some fire bars yesterday with his video.
Yeah, no, I did check out the video. It was really well done, and I liked it. I don't like when dudes rap in Hmong, to be honest, or that anybody just raps in Hmong. It definitely takes skill and talent that I obviously don't have, but yeah, I just prefer the English bars. But that's just my preference. But yeah, no, he did really well. And he just, he raps and sings a lot of like sad songs, but I kind of wanted more of the rappity rap stuff from him and other Hmong artists. So it was nice that he just dropped some bars.
Yeah, because like I think the first time I've ever heard David like his music ever was back when LP and those guys were doing the whole Movement album, and one of my family members who knows LP, he had like a disc that had like their pre-recorded sessions or something like that, like before they actually edited and released it. And David Yang was on one of those tracks, and that's the first time I actually heard him rap. And my uncle was like, you know how old he is? He's only like 19, 20. I'm like, holy shit, he's really good. And the fact that he can spit in Hmong and English is like really, really impressive to see how he's grown from that till now. It's very like inspiring, and it's he's proving a lot of people wrong. Like, I mean, there's some of the stuff there's some stuff that he does personally that's not 100% agreeable, which I'm not holding that against him. That's him, but that shouldn't affect him as an artist. I think separating the personal life and the artistry that they bring, it should be left alone. And I think what he did in yesterday's video was perfect, like calling everyone out like that. It's kind of like how he did his diss track a few years back. Like, I forgot what it was, but it was like that 6-minute song that he did.
I remember that. Yep. So there's some things that you don't agree with in his lifestyle, or is that?
Yeah, I mean, like, it's not 100% disagree. I felt like obviously everyone knows what's happened. I don't want to drop names or anything, but his current situation that happened. There was that huge debacle about the whole tradition versus adapting and evolving as a culture, right? So, I mean, me personally, I grew up kind of like not doing that, but I don't disagree with it. If you feel like you want to evolve and to go ahead and do that, that's on you. I spoke about this a little bit in one of my earlier podcasts when I was in Cincinnati. I have absolutely no problem about what they do. That's completely you. But I think pushing views and like trying to make agendas out of something small like this, it's not, shouldn't be. You shouldn't use that to like make something out of someone's artistry. That shouldn't bother David's music when he's doing that stuff.
I totally agree, and I kind of come from a school of thought where I also don't really care too much about interclan relationships. Like, it doesn't affect me, so yeah, if it doesn't affect me, then why should I? Why should I care?
Well, you're lucky though. You don't even have to deal with it at all. Like you get to play the game a lot easier than a lot of us.
That is true. Well, because my real last name is Arredondo. It's a Spanish last name. And so I have my dad's last name, so I don't have to worry about that stuff. But honestly, if I had my mom's last name, she's a Vang too. I wouldn't care, to be honest. I would still date Vang girls. Like, as long as they didn't care, like, I wouldn't care either. I know my mom, she's pretty progressive, I would say, for, a Hmong woman of her age. Not that she's super old or anything, but she's pretty progressive. But I know she also doesn't really rock with the whole interclan relationship thing. But I know at the end of the day, she would support me if, I really love that woman and everything. But yeah, I wouldn't care if I was a Vang.
Yeah, like I was saying, like that stuff's all personal. Is like, especially as a content creator, artist, that stuff shouldn't even mess with you. I mean, unless it was like something that had to like break like real laws or something. Like if you went out and murdered someone, then okay, that's different. But come on, that's small stuff. That's you can overlook that shit.
Yeah, as far as that kind of thing goes, that is true. Although there are some people who do or say some things that would make me kind of weary about supporting their content, like R. Kelly. Like,
oh yeah,
listen to Eddie R. Kelly, which is totally different than last name interclan relationship.
Exactly,
obviously, but like there are some things where people do it. I'm like, okay, I'm good on it. Or even the Bill Cosby show. I used to love the Bill Cosby show, but I can't watch it anymore.
Yeah, Bill Cosby stuff's like so borderline. I mean, like what he did was completely messed up. But at the same time, a lot of people who I'm not agreeing with this, but a lot of people that support Bill Cosby still, like a lot of comedians still, like I forgot who it was. I think it was I forgot which comedian it was. He said something along like, Cosby's work is what defined a lot of black content creators and a lot of black artists too. But then what he did in his personal life, like, screwed all that over.
Yeah, I agree. I think it definitely kind of wiped out his legacy. I mean, yeah, we have laws and there's ethics. Like, you can't, like, that's so terrible. That totally messed up his legacy, in my opinion. And there, unfortunately, were some a lot of people in the I don't want to say a lot of people, but there definitely were like Black Americans who were saying like, oh, they're just trying to mess up, his legacy
right,
and everything. But when a white man does it, like Eddie, what was his name? Eddie Brock? No, Eddie Brock is Venom, not Eddie Brock. Oh my god, not Venom. Brock Turner. You remember that?
Oh yeah, that college kid. Yeah.
Yeah. I can't believe I fucking said Venom. Venom would never do such a thing. Brock Turner. They're kind of comparing that, like, oh, Brock Turner got let off, and Bill Cosby, he's black, but like that doesn't justify what Bill Cosby does. They both should be punished.
Right.
Just because Brock Turner didn't get punished doesn't mean Bill Cosby should also not get punished. Like, they both should be locked up under the jail.
Comedian Ryan Davis had a really good point on the whole Brock Turner situation. One of his videos, he was like, I can't say it word for word, but I'm paraphrasing here. He said something along the lines of like, it wasn't the fact that he got away with it, it's the fact that the woman got injustice. She didn't get what she deserved. And I think Ryan Davis made a very valid point on that too. Like, yes, there's like some racial differences, but we forget that the victim was the one who suffered it, and they didn't get the justice that they deserved.
Yeah, man. At the end of the day, it's always about the victim and getting their due justice and punishing whoever the assailant was.
Earlier you brought up the whole R. Kelly thing. I do want to point out that I watched that documentary on Netflix. and holy crap, man. The whole thing with Aaliyah, I almost couldn't watch it. Like, I had to turn it off and take a break. Like, really.
Yes.
That stuff was so messed up.
Yeah, surprisingly, a lot of people don't know that, but yeah, man, she was like, what, 14, 15, and I don't know, he like messed with them papers to marry her, like, legally, right? Was that it? Something like that?
Something along those lines, because he was like pushing her as an artist too, and then like her friend, when she had when Aaliyah's friend was talking about the situation on the tour bus, and then when they walked in, man, I cringed on that part, because like that's so horrifying to like walk in and see your friend who's young, a young teenager, in the room with R. Kelly like that. Like, ugh, talking about it makes me like cringe already. It's terrible.
Yeah, man, it's sick. That's why I can't even listen to his music anymore, because I just picture him like trying to seduce little girls, and
I mean, like when you hear it now, it's a different message now. Like, there's a different undertone to his songs now. Like, Ignition. Like, everyone loves that song, and then you hear it now after all of his the crimes that he's done. It sounds way different. It sounds even more like disgusting now when you listen to the lyrics.
Yeah, it's because you're just assuming that he's obviously talking about like a grown 26-year-old woman, but like now you're in the mindset of he's probably dedicating that to like a 12-year-old girl, which is just disgusting.
Yeah, it's creepy, man. That dude's a freaking creeper, man. Yeah, it's terrible. To move on, I don't want to, give any more light to R. Kelly, because that dude is terrible. To move on, I mean, as an artist, what's difficult about trying to maintain your content now that you've been on hiatus? Because I think the last thing I've seen you do was the whole interview with Christina Xiong earlier this year.
Oh yeah, that was a while ago. What was the question? I'm sorry.
Is it difficult now to maintain your content as a content creator now, since you've been on hiatus?
Yeah, I mean, it's honestly been kind of difficult, because I try to say this with as much humility as possible, but I like to think that I am a talented dude, and like I'm talented in a lot of different areas. Like you mentioned, like I'm educated on certain social issues. I'm an athlete, comedian, I can rap, and so I've kind of been having a hard time kind of deciding how to split my energy. I'm not one of those guys who can like multitask, and so I've just been putting all my energy into my physical wellness, I guess, as an athlete. So yeah, it's been kind of hard to put out content lately, and honestly, I don't know where the Van Brookes thing is going as of now, but I do want to get back into it, because people, they still hit me up on Messenger, or they'll see me in person and they'll ask me about like, oh, is your next video going to come out? Or even just hearing them saying they still support me, it makes me want to get back into it again. So hopefully, maybe in 2020 or in the near future, I'll get back into it.
Yeah, because usually, I mean, this year wasn't too crazy with the whole, like, I guess in the Hmong community. Maybe like Yasmin's had a few things that's happened here or there, and I was like, damn, how come Van Brookes is not like making videos on this stuff? Like, I was kind of like hoping that you'd throw in your 2 cents in a few things. I know you're good friends with her too, like nothing hostile, but just like, that little comedic edge to it. And I was like, damn, he's not posting anything the whole summer, nothing's happened. So yeah, I was like, okay, so that's not happening. No, but on this topic as well, I think you've heard about this whole where she had this financial issue, right? Like, not that she's broke or anything, but I don't know if it was at the J4 thing, or like when she was asking for donations. You've heard of this, right?
I think so. This sounds familiar, yeah.
I don't have the complete issue what happened, but I know her and another artist were asking fans for donations to, I guess, help build up their other projects. And then like, they're apparently one of the artists that she was with not ranted, but made this long post about how Yasmi works, and it's hard to make money as a content creator when you're like doing a lot of stuff that's like quote unquote free. I know like not a lot of Hmong artists do this stuff. Like for example, like Comic Cons, you pay the celebrity you pay the celebrity X amount of money to take photos or get an autograph, right? So a lot of Hmong artists don't really do that so much. I think that maybe we kind of should in the future, like not overly charge, but throw a little fee in there, but anyway, it's like they were having it all came down to money and fans supporting and stuff like that. One of my buddies actually was having a comment, quote unquote comment war with Yasmin about the stuff, and I was thinking about like maybe they should try crowdfunding. Is that something you've considered doing as well? I mean, I know that crowdfunding is a huge thing for a lot of content creators. And I actually wanted to, if I ever do get to meet Yasmin, I would like to run that by her, like let her know like there's Patreon, there's GoFundMe and all that stuff. And with her status, I mean, like she's not like top tier celebrity, but she if she wanted to, she could be like $5 a picture, like that's no big deal.
So the question is, have I ever thought about?
Yeah, have you? I mean, with that situation, have you thought about that too? Like, have you thought about like doing some sort of crowdfunding or something different than just doing the whole Hmong stunt of just like J4 and relying on these events?
Man, honestly, I haven't really thought about crowdfunding before. Maybe because when I went into content creation, money kind of was the last thing on my mind. And if money is an incentive for some people, that's totally fine too, because there's big bucks in content creation and YouTube and Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff. So if you want to get your money, get your money. But I personally haven't thought about crowdfunding before. But that would be a good idea for her. Like you said, she does her photo shoots, her sexy little photo shoots, and her cards, playing cards, and everything. People would definitely pay for that. So yeah, and if I do get paid, it's I have gotten paid before, like hosting events or just being a guest at like certain universities and everything like that. So and then that's fine too. Money's nice, but at the end of the day, for the most part, I do it just because I want to do it. But money is nice though. It's always nice to get paid for your craftsmanship. So I understand why people do it for that.
Right, and I do want to bring this up. Like, I'm not, to make so that our listeners can understand. I'm not knocking on Yasmin or anything like.
Oh yeah.
I'm not knocking on them. I think what they're doing is great. I just wanted to throw this idea out. Maybe if they listen to this podcast, to try and it's nothing like. I don't want to say it's difficult, but it's another way to try to find a way to make income, because you can't really always rely on just views and. Like the YouTube stuff and all that. There's a lot of content creators always have to adapt to what's available to them. Like even with podcasting, I mean, if she tried podcasting, she could probably make some money off of for example, like she can make money off of sponsors if she wanted to, So like that's just something I'm throwing out there as well. And speaking on that too, because like, you mentioned that you were invited and you got paid for events and stuff. I think earlier, was it a month or two ago? I don't know who the rapper is. He's from Minnesota too, but there was like that post where he talked about not getting paid for his performance.
Yeah, yep, I saw that.
And what are your thoughts on that? I mean, I know everyone needs to eat, and definitely as an artist, that's something that you kind of look forward to when there's a huge event. So what are your thoughts on that whole situation too? Like, do you think that it was the whole sponsor's fault, or should the artist just keep looking at different venues and stuff?
Yeah, I think networking definitely plays a part into it, whether it's like your manager or the certain venue that you go to. But I don't think it's wrong to kind of expect some sort of compensation for your time and your craftsmanship. You should definitely know your worth. And get paid for what you do, especially if you do it well. but at the same time, some people don't do their thing well, and like it's kind of subjective. Like some people aren't that good, and maybe they shouldn't get paid. If I'm being brutally honest, so it's I don't know. There's just a lot of gray area with that, I think.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from with that too. I mean, because like it goes hand in hand. Like the artists, like some artists believe that they're better than what they are, and then some of these sponsors or venues don't really want to pay them that much. But at the same time, there may be some other artists who are that good and demand that kind of money, and it goes vice versa. It goes the other way too. So I think that the subject itself, like, it's difficult in a way. I do believe that both venues and artists should communicate better when it comes to that stuff, especially with the money. I think there's a lot of misunderstanding in that too, because I'm pretty sure you've seen it. There's a lot of artists who get ripped off because of the venue, and a lot of the time it's mostly either scammers, or people don't come through with what they say, or or the other way, where artists don't perform like the way they should.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I also think another problem with that is I think Hmong people might find more money if they branched out to other communities and different venues. Not that Hmong people are cheap. Well, some of us are pretty cheap, but there's just like I feel like other communities are willing to pay more for their local talents. I could be wrong, but that's kind of like what I think. So if they branched out to different communities, I feel like they might find a little more income that way. What do you think?
I agree with that. Definitely as someone who's grown up, kind of in and out of the Hmong community, because like I've gone to a lot of concerts that don't deal with a lot of Hmong artists, especially Minnesota, because Minnesota and Michigan is very different, because we don't have that kind of huge Hmong community like you guys have. So we don't have a huge, vast variety of Hmong artists to go see and stuff like that. But I've seen, a lot of American artists, they take their shots too, and they go to like small venues and they get paid regardless, right? I feel like Hmong artists, especially if you want to be a serious one, I feel like a lot of Hmong artists should try to take that risk too and do what American artists do. Reach out to a broader audience, like you said. I mean, yes, the Hmong community is a great way to start. Again, David's a huge example of that. But I definitely see that as time goes on, with more content and with more, I guess, with a more differently skilled artists in the future. I think we should definitely, as a community, try to branch out more to other audiences. One of my favorite comedians is Gary Owen. He's huge in the Black community, and he's successful. He's like, for a white guy, like, you wouldn't expect that from someone like that. And I think we might, if Hmong people took a chance, we might have a Hmong Gary Owen one day. You never know.
Yeah, no, definitely. You just, like Michael Jordan said, you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. So yeah, I definitely see both sides of like people who are saying like, oh, you shouldn't expect to get paid, and I also see the side that like I put so much work into my craft that I should get paid. But kind of like a point more so to the people who say that you should expect to not get paid is the Beatles. I know the Beatles performed at strip clubs, like in random ass parts of Europe, I believe. Maybe it was in Germany, I don't know. But I just heard that they played like countless of nights in strip clubs just to practice, and I'm pretty sure they weren't getting paid for that. And I do feel like you just gotta, I don't know, sometimes you gotta expect to sometimes I feel like you should focus more so on just perfecting your craft before you get paid, like the Beatles, and they're one of the biggest bands of all time. So yeah,
exactly. I agree with that 100%. That honestly, it all comes down to the person's craft, man. Like, I met voice actor Rob Paulson earlier this year at Michigan Comic-Con, and he was telling me about his journey about being a podcaster. And he didn't get paid for his podcast until like 7 years in. And a lot of the content creators that that we mutually follow, a lot of them say the same thing. It's always about just keep honing your craft, man. Like, just eventually someone's gonna like it, and you never know who you'll run into that'll really like it and support you. So, message to a lot of the Hmong artists out there who's trying to make it big, just keep working on it. And I did want to bring this last topic here up. I sent you a video yesterday about the situation as well, and it goes hand in hand with music as well. With a lot of, I don't want to point out like just Hmong people specifically, but a lot of other Hmong, not a lot of a lot of other minority artists as well. The drop of the N-word, right? A lot of artists use this word as as a part of their culture or music or whatever. There's different aspects on this, and I only want this from your point of view because you are, you half Hmong, half Black, so you see both sides of the spectrum, and you definitely have a say in, what or like who should or shouldn't say it. I mean, you don't speak for everyone, but at the same time, you can relate to that. You have history in that. But yeah, like what I sent you was the Kev on Stage video where he was talking about like, because earlier this week, Gina Rodriguez dropped the word, right? And she made this half-assed apology, and so a lot of people gave her heat for it. And so Kev on Stage was talking about it, like who do we think should or should not say it? I want to let you know what I think of it first. I personally think that no one should say it because of the history of that word. It's just crude. Whether you say it with good intentions, with the A vowel, or whether you're just a dick and say it with the R, like I don't think anyone should say it really. Mm-hmm. And go ahead.
Oh no, sorry. No, you go on if you had more to say.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying this because like even artists like Stupid Young got a lot of this too. When you can see his interviews on YouTube, like where he got a lot of heat for it, and Cardi B got it too, and you can see their explanations too, like where they say that they grew up in that environment, that was their culture growing up too. So you can kind of see where they're coming from. But I wanted to get your thoughts on this situation as well. I mean, do you think that that word should be passed around so easily like that?
I'm one of those guys. I say it because I am Black. I identify as Black too. I think I come from the school of thought that like only Black people should say it, or people who identify as Black. What was I gonna say? Damn. Oh, Kev on Stage. Yes, Kev on Stage brought up this excellent point, and I always bring this up too when I talk about this subject. But he said that it's like a culture, part of the culture with women like calling each other the B word and everything, and they also say it in an endearing term. And then there's also gay people who throw around the F word jokingly or as an endearing term too. But since I'm straight and I'm not a woman, I would never call a woman that, like my sisters, they say it to each other all the time, and I think it's hilarious. But like I would never say like B to my sister because I just wouldn't feel comfortable saying it. And I have an uncle who's gay, and I hear him throw around the F word sometimes, but like I would feel super uncomfortable calling him the F word because again I'm not gay. So, and I think that's how people should kind of look at the N word. Like if you're not Black, then you shouldn't say it.
Yeah, that's a good point too. And again, I do want to bring this up to you as I'm not perfect, and I'm gonna say this on air. Like I'm guilty of saying it. I've never said it to anyone in like person, like another Black person. Like I know better not to do that. I've been given the a lot of Black folk give you the pass, right? Because I used to work in Highland Park, and I worked for like this third party company for Chrysler. So on the dock that I worked on, it was a lot of older Black men who grew up in like the 70s and 80s. So they had like the whole, they had like the stereotypical R&B swagger to them. They had like the Motown feel to them. So they were very family oriented. They were very comfortable with me, and so like they would say it to me, and then they're like, "Come on, Ricky, say it." I'm like, I don't know if I should say it because I don't want to get hit. they're like, no, man, we family, cuz, like, just say it. And I've never had the audacity to even say it in a endearing way. A lot of artists use this word, right? And what are your thoughts on that too? Like, I'm not gonna drop names either, but there are Hmong artists out there who use this word. And when it comes to hip hop and that culture, do you think that should be used at all?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of Hmong people, artists, or just Hmong people in general. I've heard it all my life, and I think it's cringy. I don't think they should be saying it either. And I guess, it's part of the culture, and I guess it kind of goes back to the whole, like, B-word thing. Like, it's part of the culture for girls to, say, like, in hip-hop as well, like Nicki Minaj, Cardi B, Meg Thee Stallion, whatever female MC you want to name, but, they'll say it too. But still, I still don't call any of my homegirls that. I don't call my sisters that. Like, so yeah, I guess just at the end of the day, I guess you just shouldn't say it. And also, I feel like I also have like a certain disdain to it as well when Hmong people say it, just because I've heard a lot of Hmong people say like a lot of anti-black and racist shit. So like it kind of hits me in a different way hearing them say it, because they'll say that word and they'll also say like other racist shit, and so it just makes it twice as bad.
Right. It's very ironic that they use the word and then they say all the slurs to you too. Like, it's not really, it's a double standard kind of, right?
Yeah, like they kind of want to be a part of the culture and like, kind of wear the same clothes and listen to the music and support the black athletes, but then they'll say like racist shit, and so it's like, yeah, I've heard it too many times, and I just don't think Hmong people should say it. But as you said too, though, not to excuse them, but yeah, I keep on bringing this whole point about like saying, the B word and stuff like that. But I used to say that about women and stuff like that. But I check myself now, and I don't.
Right.
I definitely don't. I no longer say that anymore.
And that's what I'm trying to do too. I check myself, like you said. It's a learning process. You kind of grow up hearing that, and when you say it a few times, it's hard to not say it as much. I mean, I'm not saying like I say it a lot. I don't drop the word a lot, but then there are moments that I do slip and say it, and I kind of check myself now. And then as I'm growing, I'm learning that I feel more cringy now when I say it. So I, like, just even hearing it like from other people nowadays is just kind of like, well, do you really got to drop the word? Like you could just say something else.
Yeah, no, it's all part of the learning process, and as long as you're kind of actively, just checking yourself every day, then that's kind of what matters.
Yeah, but thanks again, Van Brookes. Dude. This has been a great episode for me. Thank you for doing this. I can't thank you enough, man, because like you're probably one of the more up and coming artists that I've had on my podcast overall. This is something very big for me, as for my podcast as well. So for you to jump on this and to make time for this has been very, I'm very grateful for this. Yeah. So did you have anything that you wanted to plug at all before we wrap things up here?
Well, again, I just wanted to say, man, I'm honored to be on this. Like I said, I've seen you grow too as a fellow content creator. So just a blessing to be, a part of this. I was really excited when you asked me, and so yeah, thank you for having me on. And as far as plugs go, yeah, just follow my Van Brookes page on Facebook. That's Van VAN and Brookes BROOKES.
All right, so folks, you heard it there. Follow Van Brookes on Facebook, and if any other content creators want to, work with them, message him. It's that simple. That's what I did, and he'll work with you on scheduling and timing as well. And he didn't demand anything from me, so that's a plus, right?
I want $1,000 after this. After we hang up.
But again, man, thank you guys for listening. This is Spoiler First Podcast, episode 25. Continue to read your comic books and manga. Watch your anime. Again, Van, thank you so much for doing this. And I hope to have you on future episodes too, man.
I would love to.
Right, and that's pretty much it. And I want to thank LP and Baymong Productions for letting me use their instrumental for my podcast. And make sure you check out Indochina Gardens up in Boyne City, Michigan. They have the best Chinese food in the state of Michigan. High quality food, excellent service, great environment, and great people. And check them out. And I also wanted to let you guys know as well that I will be taking about a week or two hiatus. Not too sure about taking the second week off, but for sure next week I will be taking a weekend off just to collect my mind and to just heal up from being sick and all. So continue to listen and support, and thank you again.
If you enjoyed this episode, follow my Instagram at RickyVang92, RICKYVANG92, and follow Popluck Podcast on Facebook.com/PopluckPodcast.